California lights. Not California.
No, all good on your end?
Yeah.
Okay. Just let me know when you're ready, and then we'll be ready to. Just give me a go signal, Noah, and whenever you're ready, I am as well.
Yeah, should be good.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the final match of the 2024 National Political Science Bee National Championships for the Junior Varsity Division. Let's give all of our finalists a big round of applause. My name is David Mann. I'm the founder and executive director of International Academic Competitions, as well as the National Political Science Bee. I myself was a political science major at Princeton, did my master's in international relations, so as much as you think of me as a history or geography guy, this is actually at some level my wheelhouse more than anything, but it's your wheelhouse too, guys. We have seen so far today, we've done very well to get out of the very hotly contested semi into this final match. 6 of you will be playing out at 50 points, just as was the case in semis today. Note that every buzz will change the score. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, make 1. So 6, 5, 4 during the question, 3 for correct after the question, make 2 during the question for an incorrect response, and make 1 afterwards. 3 incorrect answers still kills the question in all cases. Protest must be done immediately. That means not even just before the next question, it means during the question. And we will halt everything to resolve that by stopping needed before we allow the next student to buzz. But hopefully, it won't come down to that. So let's do the obligatory buzzer check. Go around and introduce yourself. Speak loudly because we do have live stream going on. And as you bring in, just say your name, your school, and your state.
Anish Roger, Southside High School, Georgia.
Sidharth Belagar, Archbishop Biddy, San Jose, California.
Evan Trask, Northwest High School from Maryland.
William Val, Thomasino High School in Illinois.
Greg Hahn, bases in the Silicon Valley, California.
Vikram Mahajan, Mission San Jose, Fremont, California.
Okay, please note we're recording of this, even though we do have a live stream going on. However, I'll clear something that I'm sure they'll enjoy hearing. We are going to be posting the packets from the finals matches this weekend, so you'll be able to review your final match in perpetuity. Because if we're doing the live stream, obviously we're not using these questions anywhere else, so why not make them publicly available? Okay. All right, players, y'all ready? All right, let's do it. Audience silence, please. Obviously, if you need to get out of the room at any point, do that between questions. Otherwise, we've got Michael Brecki on my left on the electronic scoring, Sarah Del Milano to my right on the paper. Let's roll. Toss up one. This group traces its roots from a 1966 conference held by CESCOAD, whose members' study and travel were funded by the Ford Foundation. Military officers who opposed this group's policies included Ali Sadaki and Ibnu Sutowo. The only member of this group to serve in the post-1997 reform era was Bijojo Nitisastra. Often compared to Pinochet's Chicago Boys, this group advised the Berkeley Mafia good for 5 points to William to start us off. Toss up two. The 1851 Supreme Court case Strader v. Graham used this clause to recognize the authority of the Northwest Ordinance regarding slavery, laying the groundwork for the Dred Scott decision. This clause, which was proposed by Edmund Randolph, is immediately followed by the Supremacy Clause. Article 6, Clause 1 of the U.S. Constitution is for the points. What clause which states that all federal debts under the Articles of Confederation remain valid under the Constitution? Time, that's the engagements clause. Number 3, this person described congressional districts as being composed of 4 concentric circles in the study of legislative campaigns. This person coined the term soaking and poking to describe a combination of interviewing and directly observing the behavior of members of Congress. A paradox name for this man refers to the idea that Congress is unpopular while individual members overwhelmingly succeed in winning the election. For the points, name this author of the book Home Style and Congressmen in Committees. Time, that's Richard Fenno, toss up 4. This statistical method analyzes individuals' binary choices to create normally distributed utility functions that can be plotted on a two-dimensional chart. Keith Poole and Howard Rosenthal developed this multi-dimensional scaling method, one type of which relies on roll call votes and has y-axis based on regional and social issues. American political polarization has increased when measured by, for the points, what statistical method whose DW type measures political ideology? Time, surprise that one dead. Nominant, DW nominant, that's a term. Toss up 5. This practice was the subject of the case Milliken v. Bradley in Detroit. This practice was ruled constitutional in the Supreme Court case Swan v. Charlotte. Busing for 6 points to William. Well out in the lead with 11 as we move to 6. An 1870 cartoon supporting this party whose support declined after the Danville massacre displays a wedge splitting the solid South, saying death to Bourbon." William E. Cameron served -2, served 1 term as a governor from this party, which was founded by railroad executive and U.S. Senator William Mahone, aiming to break the power of wealth and established privilege during Reconstruction. For the points, what was this short-lived Virginia party of the 1870s?
Fusion Party?
-2 of the 1870s. Time, this is the Readjuster Party. Toss up 7. After running a chimney sweeping business in his youth, this man befriended Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer at Stanford Business School. In an upset, this man defeated sitting Attorney General Wayne Stendium in a primary in his first run for public office. To appeal to voters hurt by rising inflation, this man's campaign began offering $20 gift cards to anyone who made at least a $1 campaign donation. For the points, named as former candidate for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination, a businessman turned governor of
Asa Hutchinson?
-2 for 4 points over to Evan of North Dakota. Toss up 8. This legal concept of English common law was stated by historian Ariane Chernock to have never applied in Scotland. The application of this law in the US made it unclear if women were committing treason if they married a foreign national. Because of this concept, women could not enter into contracts without their husband's consent or own property in their own names, effectively made null by several late 19th century property laws. For the point, what is this concept by which a wife's legal identity was subsumed by her husband's? Time, there's a name for this, it's couverture. We don't have that going on too much. Toss of 9. This man offered a piece of legislation mandating that all federal buildings be accessible to disabled people, and the Library of Congress estimates that more of this man's bills became law than any other congressperson in history. This man broke with political ally Ernest Bruning in the Senate race of 1968 by expressing his support for Mike Gravel, who defeated Bruning in the Democratic primary, defeating R.E. Robertson in the election of 1958 for the points. Who was Alaska's other first?
Ted Stevens.
No, minus 2. The other first senator after statehood, the predecessor of Ted Stevens. Time, that effective legislator was Bob Bartlett. Bob Bartlett, or Edward Louis Bartlett. Toss up 10. J.J. McRoach was one of the earliest candidates for one of these organizations in the 1970s, running for an Australian Senate seat in Victoria. El Yarok is one of the most prominent one of these organizations in Israel, but has failed to meet the representation threshold for the Knesset. One of these organizations achieved major party status in Minnesota after Michael Ford got over 5% of the vote in the 2018 auditor race. For the points, name these largely single-issue organizations whose flags and logos.
Green Party.
Minus 2.
You know, on the parties?
Plus 4. Green in a different sense. Toss 11. This person's attendance at the 35th G8 summit was interrupted due to the 2009 Urumqi riots, and he helped develop the scientific outlook on development. This man promoted the concept of a harmonious society, which has been likened to New Confucianism. This man dealt with the 2003 SARS outbreak by firing Zhang Wenkang, and in late 2022, this man made international headlines for being pulled from his chair by 2 men in suits during the 20th National Congress. No, minus 2. For the points, name this man who was China's president before Xi Jinping. That is good for 4 on the last syllable. Points to Grant. Scores cross-check after 11. Plus 12. This party's first official contest saw its candidate and founder get 97 votes in the 1983 Bermondsey by-election. Since 1999, this party has been led by former Ashburton Mayor Howland Ward Hope, who came in last in the fastest political party challenge on the 2003 episode of Top Gear. Rather than going hard or soft, this party has advocated for an al dente Brexit since 2016. For the points, name this satirical minority.
Monster Identity Party?
That is good for 4. I had never heard of that before. Satirical minor party in the UK, founded by the late musician Screaming Lord Such. Okay, you do it, right? Toss of 13. Evelyn Brooks Higginbotham coined this term in a 1993 book about Black women's movements in the early 20th century. Ta-Nehisi Coates described this perspective as the inability to look into the cold, dark void of history in an article criticizing Charles Barkley. This perspective is associated with the pound cake speech and earlier comments made about dress by Bill Cosby. For the points, name this term used to critique
White fragility.
Say it again.
White fragility.
No, minus 2. Name this term used to critique the idea that members of a marginalized group should change behaviors to achieve success.
Minority.
Minus 1. Time is respectability of politics. Respectability. Toss 14. According to the 19th century Nuttall Encyclopedia, this phrase is used to describe mutual praise by authors of each other's work in academia. Davy Crockett may have been the first person to use this term on the House floor, and it is called waffle iron politics in Belgium. In The Theory of Property Rights, Ronald Coase theorized that American legislators were incentivized to perform this action as transactional costs of love. For the point, give this example of a legislative quid pro quo where members will support another person's legislation in exchange for support of their own. Time. This is called log rolling. Toss of 15. In the case of Novak, the city of Parma, this man wrote a unanimous opinion stating that a satirical Facebook page called We Know Crime could be interpreted as impersonating a police officer. This man is the first federal judge of South Asian descent. After Sri Srinivasan, this man is the second Indian American judge appointed to the U.S. Court of Appeals, as well as Donald Trump's second judicial appointment after Neil Gorsuch. For the point, named as Indian American attorney voted by Donald Trump as a potential Supreme Court nominee. Time. This is Amol Thapar. 16. This term was first coined by architect Daniel Karolek, who cited examples of California bungalow courts and Massachusetts triple deckers. Some potential solutions to this concept include the use of form-based codes, as well as the authorization of fourplexes and duplexes. In 2023, the Arlington County Board of Supervisors approved zoning changes that would reduce this concept, but were sued by a homeowners group. For the points, give this term to describe the general lack of medium density zoning for housing in most American cities.
Suburban sprawl.
No, next one. Time. This is called missing middle housing. That's that. 17. We'll score check or verify the scores at 18 the approximate half, as there are 35 and a half. Now, 17. In 2008, this principal officer was targeted by gunmen in Peshawar, after which she was given secretaries of word for heroism. Bob Menendez and Ed Markey led congressional questioning before this woman was made ambassador to Armenia, and this woman formerly acted as deputy chief of mission in Ashgabat. On the retirement of John Sullivan, this woman was sworn into a new role where she serves from the Spaso House. For the points, named as current U.S. ambassador to Russia. Time. Lynn Tracy is her name. Cost 18 on the score check. Due to his son being a student at the Virginia Military Institute, this man recused himself from the case that ruled that the school's males-only admission policy was unconstitutional. A ProPublica report described Miami Dolphins owner H. Wayne Huizenga as this man's first billionaire benefactor, an accusation which has also been leveled at Club for Growth founder Harlan Crow. Got it in just for 5. All right, score check.
And I have Evan at 8, Siddharth at -4, Anish at 3, Vikram at -4, Grant at 4, and William at 9. Sure.
13 is respectability politics. How about
We had 2 buses in that question.
the scores check as is. I'll pack it. Second half tends to be easier. Let's see how it plays. Toss 19. In an essay for Slate, this man controversially claimed that judges did not need to study the history or implementation of the Constitution. This man criticized the laissez-faire economics impact on Great Recession in A Failure of Capitalism. This man argued for reforming American laws regarding sexuality in the book Sex and Reason. This author of economic analysis of law is the most cited legal scholar in history. For the point, he was retired 7th Circuit Court judge, a leading figure in the law and economics movement. -1. Time. Any attorneys in the audience? This is Richard Posner. Posner 20. This party was founded in 1967 due to dissatisfaction with Republican boycott of the referendum. Current members of this party, whose logo features a blue palm tree, include resident commissioner Jennifer Gonzalez and Governor Pedro Pierluisi. A previous governor who was the son of another governor from this party, Ricardo Rosselló, resigned in 2019 due to the Telegram Gate scandal. For the point, named as rival of the popular Democratic Party.
The New Progressives?
That's good for 4 points. Yes, the New Progressive Party becomes the niche on 21. Come on in. Door close. 21, toss up. This party experienced a resurgence in popularity after a prime minister from a rival party's Olshor's speech was leaked to the press since 2000. 6 points. Hungarian linguist you.
Oh.
Toss at 22. One version of this theory claims that any independent agency, such as the Federal Reserve, is unconstitutional. William Barr's endorsement of the strong form of this theory prompted Townsend Shaw to call him the Carl Schmitt of our time. This theory is based on broad reading of Article 2 and holds that the presidency can only be restricted by Congress with censure, impeachment, or constitutional amendment. For the points.
Unitary executive.
Nice buzz, yes. Unitary executive for 2Z. To 23. The father of this person was known as the Sinn Féin rabbi for his fluency in Irish. With Michael Fox and Yaakov Ne'eman, this person co-founded one of the largest Israeli law firms. This man claimed that a certain document was devoid of any moral or legal value in a 1978 speech, and after that speech, this man took a copy of the aforementioned UN General Assembly Resolution 3379, ripped it in half, holding his highest post, while men like Yitzhak Rabin and Menachem Begin served as prime minister. For the point, who was this Israeli president from 1983 to 1993? Time is Chaim Herzog. 24. This country was the site of 2000 coup where George Speight took the cabinet of 6 points. William, 25. The ruling in the 1872 case, Lowe v. Boston, would establish this clause's original package doctrine, which would guide its interpretation for over a century. This clause's interpretation would later change due to the 1976 ruling in Michelin Tire Court v. Wages. In the 1869 case, Woodruff v. Parham, the Supreme Court ruled that this clause only applied when dealing with foreign countries and not other states. For the points, give it this name for Article 1, Section 10, Clause 2, that bans states from issuing tariffs without the consent of Congress. Time. This is the Import-Export Clause. 26. Good toss. Bill Walton won 2 Pulitzer Prizes while working for this publication, where he debuted the stock characters Willie and Joe. During World War II, Andy Rooney reported for this publication from London, and Shel Silverstein produced cartoons for its Pacific edition. This publication traces its roots to the Civil War, when multiple Illinois regiments camped in Bloomfield, Missouri, began publishing their experiences. This publication is notably editorially independent from the Department of Defense through an ombudsman. For the points, name is daily newspaper of the U.S. Armed Forces. Ooh, something to know. Stars and Stripes. 27. Since 2020, this organization has been led by former Polish tourism minister Witold Wonka. This organization issued the 97-page McLaren report on one country's activities, which was the subject of the documentary Icarus. One commission led by a former president of this organization, Dick Pound, accused Vitaly Mutko of cover-ups involving urine samples at the Sochi Olympics. The points, named this Canadian-based international organization that aims to monitor and advocate against the use of drugs in sporting activities. Time. This is WADA, or the World Anti-Doping Agency. 28. This man was the highest ranking of 6 officials criminally charged by Spanish judge Balthazar Garzon, and he was targeted alongside Jay Bybee and John Yoo. This man was replaced by Michael Mukasey due to his controversial dismissal of attorneys like Paul K. Charlton and Todd Graves. This man who succeeded John Ashcroft in his post is the highest ranking Hispanic American in the executive branch in history. For the points, name this man who served as
Leon Panetta.
-1, -2. Name this man who served as George W. Bush's second Attorney General. Time. This is Alberto Gonzalez. 29. Score check at 30. Walter Waldman was the only CDU member to lead this state in a period of SPD dominance from 1945 to 1999. However, the SPD has not led this state since then. This state's most recent election saw the left party, co-led by Elizabeth Kula, lose all its seats, while a leader of the far right party in this state started coalition with the ruling CDU was only a matter of time. Led by Minister President Office Ryan for the point, what is this German state where the AfD notably overperformed in 2018 and 2023 to become the second largest party in the Landtag based in Wiesbaden? Yes, for 3.
D.
Toss 30. Despite campaigning for the New Democratic Party as a teenager, this figure's views shifted after reading the Gulag Archipelago. As a speechwriter for George W. Bush, this man coined the term axis of evil for the 2002 statement.
David Trump.
Good for 6. All right, score check as the clock thickens.
All right, I have Evan at 11, Siddharth at -4, Anish at 10, Vikram at 4, Grant at 4, and William at 15.
All right, the score is checked. 5 to play. Anyone's match. Okay, 31. While running on a ticket with Gary King, this person lost a bid to become their state's lieutenant governor. In July 2022, this official broke their left fibula while hiking in Shenandoah National Park. Melanie Stansbury won a special election to fill the seat vacated by this member of the Lagna Pueblo tribe, a former congresswoman from New Mexico. Is correct for 4, a last syllable of 4 points. Grant to 32. The most recent election in this province left Dougal Lamont as the only Liberal member of its legislature. Heather Stephenson, the MLA from Tuxedo, served as health minister in this province, eventually rising to become its first female premier after the retirement of Brian Pallister. This province elected NDP leader Wab Kimu of the Onagamin First Nation in October 2020. He's good for 5 points. Yes. Siddharth out of the hole with 3 to play. In an interview for The Hill, this person said they were denied for an apartment in DC due to bad credit as they ran up a lot of debt running for Congress for a year and a half. After the collapse of FTX, this politician who succeeded Madison Cawthorn as baby of the House announced they would is good for another 5 points. Yes. All right. Okay, 2 to go. Anyone still alive for the national title? As we go to 34. In 2020, a former employee of this agency, Stanley Weber, received 5 consecutive life sentences for multiple offenses against children. One Trump appointee to lead this agency, Robert Weaver, withdrew from consideration after a Wall Street Journal article questioned his qualifications. Since September 2022, this agency has been led by Robert So, a member of the Navajo Nation. For the points, name this agency within the Department of Health and Human Services tasked to provide services to Alaska Natives and federally recognized tribes.
The Indian Health Service.
That is correct for 3 points to Anish. And with that, as we hit the last question, you see the scores? They check.
Evan 11, Siddharth 6, Anish 13, Vikram 4, Grant 8, William 15.
Hey everybody, good luck. Here is toss-up 35, the last. The case South Dakota v. Dole found that this amendment did not bar Congress's spending power to allocate federal highway funds. This amendment is the only one to have been approved by state ratifying conventions, partly due to fears that state legislatures were influenced. The 21st Amendment is correct for 5 points. We have in 6th place from California, Vikram Mahajan. In 5th place from California as well, Siddharth Pelagara. In 4th place from California as well, Grant Hahn from the Basis. for the JV Heaven Trash Congratulations, players. Thanks for great match. Thank you to Sarah. Thank you to Michael. Thanks for a great tournament. If we can have Anish, William, and Evan meet me out in just 2 minutes over by the step and repeat by the help desk for some photos, that'd be great. Thanks everybody for a great first day. We'll see you tomorrow for USS 3B bright and early.
Can we go?